My name is Brian Fraser. I'm the minister here at Brentwood Presbyterian Church, and we're in the midst of an interesting research project on Jesus, jazz, and worship. This summer we've had 4 wonderful young jazz musicians working with us thanks to the Canada Summer Jobs Program. Sophia Avelino is one of those, and I'm going to let her tell you what she's up to in terms of jazz, where she is in her schooling, and a little bit about why she was interested in being part of the project.
So I'm going into my 3rd year at Capilano University in the jazz program there. I major in voice, and I'm pursuing a degree in music education. So eventually I'm aiming to be a high school band teacher. One of the things that really pulled me towards this project is I've grown up in the Presbyterian church, and I've lived most of my life attending a summer camp, and this summer was the first year that I wouldn't be able to work at the summer camp. So this gave me a unique opportunity to still work in the Presbyterian church and still be doing something that I'm passionate about, and also just do something really unique in interviewing people and ask them just what they see as the relationship between music and spirituality, which are 2 things that are so much a part of everyone's life, that it's a unique opportunity to be really introspective about it.
Now, you were saying when we've been gathering with the 4 students and with our coordinating committee today to review and debrief on the summer research project, but one of the things you were saying this morning was that you weren't aware of the number of jazz worship services there were around.
Yeah, actually I didn't know about jazz worship services at all. I've lived in the Christian tradition, and worshiping and all of that has been a huge part of my life, and obviously I'm pursuing a career in jazz, so that's a really significant portion of my life at the moment, but I just didn't know that there were services that combined the 2 up until maybe 6 months ago.
Yeah, that's great. Well, and as it turns out, there's 8 churches in the Vancouver area that do jazz worship services on a regular basis. A couple of us do it every week, St. Andrew's Wesleyan Brentwood. Northwoods in Surrey does them every 2nd week, and then there are 5 churches that do them once a month. So Sophia has been interviewing some of the musicians that play for those, some of the ministers that work with the jazz musicians in those services. So what are the 2 or 3 things that really struck you in those interviews?
I think one thing that I've spoken a lot about is this breadth of experience that everyone has, and how unique everyone's experiences are, but still how much everyone has in common in terms of what's at the core of their belief system and what's at the core of really who they are, despite phrasing it in really different ways. The more you talk to people, the more you get to appreciate how much they have in common, both with myself and with each other, which is fun. Yeah,
that's great. It is. One of the things we've transcribed and done summaries of all of the interviews. There's about 100 pages of it so far, and we haven't finished our transcription, and we'll continue to ask people the questions through the next 8 or 9 months. But it's fascinating to see, as Sophia has said, the common threads around connecting for compassion in community, but the different ways and nuances that people have of interpreting those things, and figuring out how do we respect that and enter into dialogue with that in our jazz worship services. Yeah. So say a little bit more about some of the other stuff that struck you.
Well, one thing that I've been thinking about a lot is one of the interviews, he brought up that once he was told that you won't necessarily see eye to eye with everyone, but that you can see heart to heart.
Yeah.
And saying it out loud, it sounds kind of silly, but it rings so true to how I construct my belief system. And my belief system is very much rooted in love, and in that Christianity is founded on love. And sometimes it's misconstrued, and sometimes people have negative experiences because not everyone is in touch with that yet on their journey. So hearing that was really significant for me. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I love that way you talk about it, not in touch with that yet on their journey. So one of the things that's been apparent in the conversations with the students as they've reported on their interviews, is that sense of people being on that journey, living into love, in their composing especially, but their performances as well, seeing themselves not only expressing it, but also exploring what it's all about. And certainly here at Brentwood, in terms of our approach to worshiping in jazz, that exploration piece is really important. I'm sorry you didn't get to go to Camp Douglas this summer, on the one hand. On the other hand, because I know how tight and important that community is for young people in this area. But I'm also delighted that you were free to work with us. And so thank you so much for everything you contributed this summer.